Hi, my name is Nicole Smith, and this tutorial is for the second annual IJA tutorial contest. What I will be teaching you today is how to juggle a 3-ball cascade. So, by the end of this video, you'll be able to juggle all 3 of these balls. I hope you enjoy. We're going to begin by tossing the ball from one hand to the other. That's it. Just one ball, one hand to the other. Now don't diss it. It's very important that you get comfortable with tossing the ball from one hand to the other at the same height. So you really don't have to move your hands too much. Now what you'll look like is probably more or going out forward, throwing it back to yourself. Don't worry. I used to do that. I still do that sometimes. Basically, just want to try about eye level, tossing it one hand to the other. And what you want to get to do is just keep your eye about the level, the point highest where the ball is, and just keep your eye at that level. Because from that level, you'll be able to know where the ball is going to land, and therefore where you're going to need to put your hand. So, just keep passing it back and forth, one hand to the other, until you get comfortable with it, and you bore yourself to death. So now you have your one ball done. You toss it from one hand to the other, back again. Now all you have to do is add your second ball. And where that comes in is, you're going to toss your first ball. It's going to go up, and when it starts its descent, that's when you're going to go and toss your second ball. And it's going to go up, and they're going to come down. And the trick I learned that really helps with making sure you don't throw your second ball too soon is to watch, and when it starts descending, you'll toss, so you know to toss your second ball. And so it'll look something like this. Toss, 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 toss. And that way that you're not tossing too soon, too late, and you don't have to worry about anything else. You're just focusing on the first ball you throw and yelling when you need to throw the second ball. And once you're really comfortable with that, then you'll start doing it without having to yell toss out loud. It's simple as that. A lot of the times when people have problems working with 2 balls, it's because they either toss the second balls too early or too late. And with this method, it's just easy to know when you need to toss the ball. Toss, toss. And the trick to learning to catch both balls without having to look at your hand is basically just practice. You can tell from the first 2 seconds of a ball's descent where it's going to land. So as long as you watch the tops of where the balls are, you'll know where you need to put your hand to catch them. So if I accidentally throw this one out too far, I can tell from the projection of where it's going to be, and I can catch it. Another important fact to remember is that when you're practicing, don't dominate just one hand. You need to remember to practice from both hands. Because when you're juggling 3 balls, you'll always be tossing from both hands. And so it's just easier now to remember to use starting off with both hands. And that's where 2 different colored balls come in handy. For me, I prefer blue, and so I always start tossing from the hand that has the blue ball in it. And that way, it makes me practice both hands. So all you need to do is practice that until you're comfortable with it. And don't worry about making mistakes. You'll drop your balls, you'll drop one ball, you'll drop both balls. And be really excited when you catch both, because it is really exciting, especially if you've never done it before. So always just be really happy when you do it right, and just keep practicing. Make sure you keep doing it more and more. Practice makes perfect, or very well near it. By now, you've created a good rhythm for yourself, tossing one ball to the other hand and vice versa. So if you noticed, when you have two props, your hands aren't always doing something, and it's at that time that's where we get the third ball in. So, for example, when I throw this ball, it has nothing to do until it catches this ball. And so, toss, wave, toss, 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 wave, toss. And so when I'm waving at you, that means that's where my third ball is going to be. So when you add it in, you're going to have two balls in one hand and one in the other. And it's no different than when you were learning to do two balls. You're going to toss the first ball up in the air. You'll toss when you see it starting descending, and then toss this ball. And then when you see this one start descending, you'll toss again, and that's when you throw your third ball. And that's when you catch it with your other hand. And all we're going to do is do 3 tosses, and therefore 3 catches. Toss, toss, toss. See? Easy. And then you just do it with the other hand. Toss, toss. Toss, toss, toss. Toss, toss, toss. And you're just going to keep going back and forth, doing 3 tosses, 3 catches, until you're really comfortable with it. Toss, toss, toss. Toss, toss, toss. And if you need to yell toss the first time you throw it, just to make sure you're, doing 3 tosses, you go toss, toss, toss. And it's easy as that. Toss 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And now that you have 3 tosses done, all you have to do is keep adding tosses. Add them one at a time until you get comfortable with it. So instead of doing 3 tosses and ending with 2 balls in your other hand, you're going to do 4 tosses and end up with 2 balls in the same hand you started with. And it's really easy just to count them as you throw them. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is how I started off. 1, 2, 3, 4. How I started off. You want to make sure you practice with both hands. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then once you get 4 done, you go to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this time you'll end up with 2 balls in the opposite hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you keep going up until you get as many as you can. So eventually, you'll look like this. And that's all there is to juggling. Just keep practicing and you'll eventually get it.